Good morning, class. It's Miss J. Today we're going to be discussing the moon, stars, and sun. We're going to be finding patterns and making predictions about what they do. We learned about the moon earlier this year. We had a great discussion on the carpet, and I would like you to think back to remember some of the things that we wrote down on that huge piece of paper. Go ahead and think for just a moment. Now turn and talk to your table partner. Share with them what you remember. I hear some awesome discussions. Let's bring it back together. Here are some of the things that we wrote down. The moon is a big ball of rock. It's dusty and gray. It's cold. And it moves across the sky. Also, it's still out during the day. That's pretty crazy. Sometimes I feel like we think that the moon goes away during the day, but it doesn't. If you look super closely in the sky, you can still see it. Moving on, let's talk about the stars. We had a great discussion on the carpet earlier this year. Think about that huge piece of paper where we recorded our thoughts again. What are some of the things that we wrote down? Go ahead and take a moment to think. Would anyone like to share what they remember from our carpet discussion? Yes! Oh yes, thank you for sharing. That's awesome. So, here are some of the things that I took from that piece of paper that we wrote down about the stars. They're super bright. They're made of gas. They're very old, can be small or huge, and they're really hot. Some of the stars, though, can be pretty cold, and the reason for that is because the light that they give off takes forever, takes millions and billions of years to reach our eyes. So even though we think that they may still be there, sometimes they don't exist anymore. It's pretty crazy. Stars are really interesting, and at the end of the presentation, I actually have some links for you to check out that tell you more about the stars. All right, last but certainly not least, we have the sun. We also have already learned about the sun. We know what it is and what it does for our planet Earth. But just to make sure, let's do a quick review. So go ahead and turn and talk to your table partner. Tell them what you already know. All right, great. Would anyone like to share what they told their partner? Yeah, go ahead. Wow, great memory. Thank you so much for sharing. So here are some of the things I remembered from our past discussion. The sun is a star. It's the center of the solar system. It's made of gas. It moves across the sky. It disappears at night. So, this is actually pretty interesting. It's made of gas and it's extremely hot, which is why it heats our Earth. It also is super bright, and that's how we get day. When the sun goes down, we get night. That is actually going to be an important part of the assignment that we're going to be doing. You're going to be detectives to figure out what actually happens when the sun goes down and why it moves across the sky. So let's continue on. So the last two bullet points, I've already discussed this, but they make me wonder, how or why does the sun move across the sky, and how does it disappear at night? So we're actually going to find out over the next few days. Before we move on, I'm going to pass out an exit ticket for you all to fill out just to make sure you remember everything we just went over. Read all of the directions before you start and put your names at the top of the ticket so that I know who you are. You'll have a few minutes to complete it, and then I will collect them from your table paper collector. Alright, now that I have everyone's exit ticket, let's move on to what your mission is. Alright, so let's go over your mission. So remember, we're trying to discover why and how the sun moves across our sky and disappears at night. To do this, we are going to use computers to analyze patterns and make predictions using graphs and charts. I will be giving each group a web link to a different set of graphs and charts so that no one has the same data. This will be important at the end of our assignment. So, remember, analyze means to observe and take notes. We have talked about predictions and patterns before, but to refresh our mind, a pattern is something that happens over and over again, and a prediction is your best guess. You typically make a prediction by studying facts and using patterns. After you analyze the graphs and charts that I give you on the computer, you will compare your data from the graphs and charts and make predictions for how you think the sun will continue to move across the sky. Once all of that is done, you will present your information and predictions. We will find out if everyone's predictions were correct by comparing all of our data. So each group is going to have a different set of months, and they're going to continue on from each group. So once one group presents, the next group that has the next months are going to present. So if your group has April, May, and June, the group afterwards is going to have July, August, and September to compare and see if your predictions were correct. So, the patterns that you will be looking for during your mission may be a little bit tricky to spot at first, but don't worry, I have great websites and videos for you in this presentation that will be able to help you. And of course, I will always be able to help you too. Really quickly, as always, this PowerPoint will be posted on Miss J's website. When you go home, feel free to check out these super awesome videos and websites that explain more about the moon, stars, and sun. You may find that these videos help you on your quest to discover why and how the sun moves across the sky and disappears at night. All right, friends, I will be giving you your groups in just a moment. Then you will be all set to begin your mission. I am so excited to see what you discover.